Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidil Mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. In our last episode, we said how different schools of jurisprudence emerged, and this is the time from 200 to 260 and 70 that muhaddiseen traveled to different countries, different cities, and they collected the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, narrated by different Sahaba who were disseminated into different cities and different borders because of the need. Some of them went for dawah and tabligh, some of them went for jihad, some of them were appointed by the government and they had official position. So the Sahaba disseminated and the ahadith were also there. All of them were collected. This was a wonderful time. Though the ahadith were collected in the earlier ages also. Muatta Imam Malik was written after 120 Hijri, and before that some of the Sahaba had also the collection of books, like Abu Huraira had his own collection of ahadith, and Abdullah bin Amr bin As radiallahu an had his own book of ahadith, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself dictated some of the ahadith to Sahaba, especially those who were appointed to collect zakah and those who were the governors, the ahkam of zakat, the rate of zakat, and the ahkam about diyat in case of murder, what shall be the ransom money, and so on, the blood money and the money for the wounds, this diya, which is called diya, compensation money. This was all dictated by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So then these people came, Imam Bukhari and Muslim and Abu Dawood and so on, and they were not following a particular madhab. They were not following Imam Abu Hanifa or Imam Shafi'i or Imam Malik or Imam Ahmad. They were mujtahid, they were scholars, and they were not only collecting ahadith, but they were also giving fatawas. That's why in Sahih al-Bukhari you find that the most important thing in Sahih al-Bukhari is the headings that are made by Imam Bukhari. That's why it is said that Fiqh al-Bukhari fi tarajibi, that the jurisprudence of Imam Bukhari is in his headings. He gives a heading to each hadith and he extracts the fatwa from the hadith, and that becomes the heading of the hadith. That is the fatwa of Imam Bukhari. So Imam Bukhari was not only a muhaddis, he was not only a simple narrator of hadith, but he was also a jurist, he was also a faqih. So there were now two schools, a school of ar-rai, this is and they are called Ashabul Rai, and they were Ashabul Hadith. So Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal and his followers, Imam Ishaq bin Rahwiya in Khurasan, and Bukhari and Muslim and Abu Dawud and Darmi and Tirmizi and Ibn Majah and so on, they are called Ashabul Hadith. So they had a new jurisprudence in the light of ahadith collected from different cities. But after 300 years of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after 300 Hijri, the political situation changed, and there was a declination in the ummah, and the people came and who said, no, this is a very bad time, we are not capable, we don't know the Arabic language very much, and we are not master of hadith, we are not master of Quran, so we should make taqleed. We have to follow blindly to the fatwas made by our imams. So an ijtihad was abandoned, and they said either we have to follow Imam Shafi'i or Imam Abu Hanifa or Imam Malik or Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. So after 300 years, these four schools were followed, and people said we don't have to go back to Quran and Sunnah, we don't have so much of knowledge, so we become muqallid. It is the safe path to follow the fatwas which are made by these noble scholars. And this thing continued for 500-600 years until some people came, like Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah came, and he said, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah died in 728 Hijri, and he said, we have to grow ourselves about this mazahib, and we have to go through Quran and Sunnah, and we have to give fatwa directly from Quran and Sunnah. And of course, we will consider all these mazahib and their fatwa, but we shall not adhere to only one school of thought. And similarly, in Spain, there was a great scholar, Ibn Hazm al-Andalusi from Andalus, who died in 456 Hijri, in the 5th century Hijri, who also said very boldly that we should not follow a particular madhab. And later on, many people of the Islamic movement emerged. The famous name, for example, is the name of Shah Waliullah Muhaddis from Delhi, Shah Waliullah al-Muhaddis. Died in 1176 Hijri. And Amir San'ani of Yemen, who was contemporary to Shah Waliullah, and they said that we should not follow a particular madhab. So Shah Waliullah, in his famous book Al-Insaf, he said that the madhab of Imam Shafi'i and Ahmad and Imam Malik is more close to the Quran and Sunnah. And then, he came up that we have to get out of taqleed and following a particular imam. We have to go back to Quran and Sunnah directly. And the same thing we find in the commentaries written by Shah Waliullah. He wrote 2 commentaries of Muwatta Imam Malik, one in Farsi and one in Arabic. In this also he gave lot of fatwa, and he did not follow to a particular madhab. And then after few years, there was a famous mujtahid from Yemen, Qazi Shawkani, Muhammad bin Ali al-Shawkani from Yemen, who died in 1250 Hijri. And he was a master of hadith, and he was a master of all madhahib, and he studied the fiqh of Abu Hanifa and Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmad and Awza'i and Hassan Basri and all madhahib, not only the 4, and the madhab of Zayd bin Ali also. And he came up with that we have to follow Quran and the sound ahadith, and we have to elevate ourselves from the path of taqleed and blindly imitating the footsteps of these imams, and we have to make ijtihad. And then when the Islamic movement scholars came, like Hassan al-Banna came in Egypt, and followed by Sayyid Qutb, who was hanged in 1966, and then Maududi came in Indian subcontinent, died in 1979 AD, 1399 Hijri. 1399 Hijri, and though raised and brought up in Hanafi background, but he said that we have to grow ourselves above the mazahib, and he gave a lot of fatawa, and he was enjoying the teachings of other madhahib also beside Hanafi madhab. So what we believe, that the Islamic movement in different countries of the world, if they are in the Middle East or in the Indian subcontinent, whether they are in Indonesia or Malaysia, they are in Turkey or North America or Australia or Europe or wherever they are, their issues are different, and a new jurisprudence should come, and they should not bind themselves to a particular school of thought, a particular school of jurisprudence, because the issues change from time to time and country to country, and fiqh is not something divine that we follow to a particular madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, or the madhab of Imam Malik rahimahullah, or any other person in fact. So this is the demand and the requirement of the Islamic movements. So they have to find new ways, and all options have to be open in front of them. The most important thing that has to be considered by the Islamic movement is that they should not go against the fundamental teachings of the Quran and Sunnah. As far as the mazahib and the fatwa of mazahib is concerned, if they are not in line, some of them, with the Quran and Sunnah, they have to be abandoned. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.